Hi, this is Majinoni. Welcome to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Disappointing. This was actually a tough week because there's some books that just really had me on the edge of like, this is driving me insane. But let's take a look at what we got today. First up is The Good, and that is Electra #1. Now, what makes this book good? Very simply, the art. The art is just so fantastic that it just really should not be ignored. Now, you get these beautiful pages right from the beginning, and then it settles down to like a regular comic. But for the most part, it's just so well illustrated that it's just like a sense of beauty to look at. Now, the gist of the story is this: Electra wants to leave town. She's got a lot of memories in New York, and she goes to her informant type person and says, "Hey, get me a job anywhere is fine." So she goes, "Well, look, I've been alive for a long time. I've been offered a lot of money. Here's a case for you. What you have to do is you have to find this guy, Cape Crow." Now, this was supposed to be this really badass assassin. He was such a badass that the League of Assassins eventually sent a bunch of people to kill him, and he was like, "Okay, it's time to retire." Now, they believe they know where he's at, so they're going to try to make another play for him. Well, somebody is paying them, Electra, to find him and bring him back alive. And there's a nice little surprise villain at the end, which I think will please some people. And overall, though, I really enjoyed it. I thought this was one of the better reads of the week. It was kind of fresh, and by fresh I mean it was just fresh in the artwork. Even the cover alone was like really, really good. So I was very pleased, very happy with Electra. Now, unfortunately, I cannot say the same thing about the bad, and that is Batman Eternal. Now, I fully realize there's some keyboard warriors out there who are probably pissed off that I would even dare say Batman Eternal is bad. And I'll tell you this much. The reason why this is, in my opinion, a bad book is because there's nothing original about the insides of this book. Now, granted, you got a little thing of, Gordon getting framed, and nobody can figure out how that framing happened, meaning he obviously committed the crime, but there's another piece to that forced him to do that. And that part, I think, was good. But you're bringing back some old villains. There's the nice little war on crime. Then, because Commissioner Gordon's thrown in prison, you have a new commissioner, acting commissioner, and he chooses to basically, instead of going after the crime battle that's going outside, or crime war, you have him going after Batman, which makes obvious sense. When there's buildings that are being blown up, people are getting killed in the streets, he calls all the policemen back to say, "No, we're not going to do that." Right. And the one thing that really, really made me just kind of laugh inside and just go, "Are you kidding me?" is we get the spoiler, which is, Stephanie. And for those of you who don't remember the spoiler, she is the daughter of the Clue Master. Well, she comes home one day to find Clue Master playing Dungeons and Dragons with his buddies, and they're not happy, and they want to they want her dead. And when I saw this, I was just like, you don't understand how my eyes rolled when I saw this picture. And I was just like, oh, this is just, like, really? You guys are an adult supervillain meeting in somebody's living room, planning the takeover of Gotham in costumes. Really. Dungeons and Dragons, LARP, whatever. Please. And when I pieced everything together, I couldn't take this book seriously. And when I got to the end, when I saw, we're doing the war on Batman instead of the war on crime like you should have been doing, I just felt that storyline has already been touched so many times. And I understand that it's a tiny piece in the bigger puzzle, but I just can't help but feel when you're putting this book out weekly and you're making people have such a huge investment in it, I expect a little better, and especially when you have Snyder on it, who's doing a phenomenal job with the original, the main Batman title. To put out this that just seems like it's regurgitated storyline, I don't care any longer. You've lost my interest as a reader. And once you do that, then that's probably the worst thing you can probably do. I really don't know if I'm going to get the rest of it now, because I'm done with you. It's totally done. Maybe I'll pick it up like towards the end, just to find out what happens, but I don't know. Very, very disappointed. The disappointing. And that is Guardians number 14. Now, as a whole, it's not that Bendis did a bad job writing this. The problem is, it's, again, the same problem with Batman. It's the same story we've read hundreds of times in all these different other comics. And I'm just like, God, when are we going to stop doing this? First of all, you're calling this a double-sized anniversary issue, and you're making people invest more money in it. So you would think you'd put up just a little bit more effort into the story, and you don't. You give us 3 stories. One is the core. Then we get a nice little Groot story, which I'll admit, that was kind of good. And then you get old school Guardians, which is fine. But people are buying it for the core story, not the others. Now, here's the deal. The Guardians of the Galaxy, they're scattered. They're always scattered when they lose, and by scattered, they all have their different agendas. And Peter Quill's father is taking them out one by one. Or, he's sending people to take them out one at a time, which he does fairly easy. Now, also we get Venom. When did Venom show up? Where's issue 13.1 that has Venom and why Venom is there? And then they're like, oh, there's nobody there to save you. And I'm like, well, where's Angela? Shouldn't Angela have been here instead of Venom? No, but we get Miss Marvel. So, basically what they're trying to do now is give these 2 characters a reason to be there. And, again, where's Angela? Please, Now, that just had me, again, going, where have we not seen this story before? We've seen it many times, and it's just kind of like, I need more than this. I expect more. To me, this is just, I'm kind of lazy today, but we'll just write something just so this way we can get to the next story arc. The Groot story, like I mentioned, was pretty interesting because we get to see Groot on his planet, and the only thing they really say is I am Groot over and over again. And then we get the Vance Astro, the original Guardian storyline, which, it has to do with basically there's problems with the universe, and they feel that they're being forced to replay this event over and over again, and they are going to Earth to try to fix everything. So I thought that part was kind of interesting. But here's the thing: these characters mean absolutely nothing to the the newer generation of readers. So most of the people who are reading this book are probably going, I have no clue or what's going on with that. So that part of it's going to be, those people are going to be truly lost. Anyways, that's my good, the bad, and the disappointing. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like and share. Let me know what your good, your bad, and your disappointing is down below. I'll have more reviews later. Facebook, Crunchyroll anime reviews, and I'll have more reviews and stuff later. So until next time.